What's up, guys? It's your girl Chloe-Olivia here with Chats with Chloe-Olivia on the Spreading the Gospel Network, where you can be heard all around the world. Listen, I hope that you guys enjoy today's session, and also don't forget to DM me or email me if you have any different topics that you want me to cover, or if you have any stories that you want me to cover. My Instagram is at the Chloe-Olivia. That's at TheChloeOlivia. And also my email is ChloeOliviaSings@gmail.com. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it yet, but April 2nd, 2021 was World Autism Awareness Day, and I would like us to be a little bit more aware of children and people who have autism. So today we have a very special guest that goes by the name of Mrs. Lady Lisa. I call her Lady Lisa all the time, so you'll hear me refer to her as Lady Lisa. How are you doing today?
I am great, Chloe, and just excited to be on this show.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. This is not my first time interviewing her, guys. I did a project in 7th grade, and I pretty much did a full entire video. Lady Lisa is a parent of a child with autism. So I wanted to know, what does World Autism Awareness Day mean to you?
Oh, wow. I get so excited about World Autism Day because you're taking a disorder which is so puzzling and you're exposing it to the world. And so everyone is exposed to autism and what it is and what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, although it's very puzzling, it is amazing to see how intimate and this puzzling disorder has become, because it affects everyone. It's throughout race, it's throughout socioeconomic level, and we have now put a color to it, which is blue, which is a beautiful color. And you can even look up sometime and see a bulletin board up in the sky that has something about autism. So it's no longer a mystery or something spooky, but it's now World Autism. So people can Google autism and say, I want to know a little bit more about this. You can Google it and you can find out more information. You can even partner with your local school district and say, talk to a teacher. What do you need? What can we do? You don't have to volunteer, but I guarantee you there is a need in a classroom. But yes, it is quite a day that it's celebrated, and it's no longer a mystery, although it is a puzzling disorder. Everyone in the world is privy to autism.
Absolutely. And, autism knows no color, no gender, no race, no creed. Like, you can be anyone and, have autism and have a certain, level of it. And I think that's very, very important. Just like you said, Lady Lisa, that's very important for others to really just kind of understand, and I went to, multiple different schools, and I saw that there was a lack of understanding in that area. People with special needs in general, like there's a lack of understanding in that area. And because of that lack of understanding, it could cause bullying, which we'll get into a little later on. But yeah, I absolutely hear you. That it's something that really definitely needs to be known. And speaking of things that, needs to be known, what are some things that you wish that people knew about children that were, on the spectrum? Like, what are some things that they should be aware of?
Although it is a disability, I would love when people make an X through the dis and see the ability.
Yes.
Our children with autism have so many gifts and talents and strengths and ability that when you meet them, say hi. Don't see the disability, but see the ability. See them as a person. See them as your neighbor. See them as your loved one.
Absolutely.
See them as your student. See them as someone that you might take an interest in and say, I want to take them for a walk or play ball or, or just greet them and say hi. But yes, I would love for them not to see the inability, but to see the ability.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Even being, in class with a lot of them, for years, like, you really get to know the person. You get to grow. It kind of grows on you. Like, you get to love that person for, who they are, not, the label that's, on them that says, autism or Tourette's or, any kind of, special, ability, as we would like to call it,
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
That's such a great point. I love that. I absolutely love that. And there's different events too, to help us gain that a bit of an awareness and a bit of, understanding. And so I know our school, we did Special Olympics. We did bowling every year. I don't know if we're doing it this year because it's COVID, but we did Special Olympics every single year. Just to kind of, not just for community service, but just to understand, them as people. And so how much do events like that weigh on the understanding of people that are on the outside looking in when it comes down to children with autism?
Oh, it's very important. I am a fan of Special Olympics because I think that it provides a common ground, a sense of community that all walks of life can come and take part. I mean, actually be an active part, not just a bystander. You can be an actual partner with Special Olympics via be a coach or training them to prepare them for Special Olympics. Our children come together and they have so many abilities. Some may need accommodations, some may need modifications, but I tell you, they can run, they can jump, they can walk, they play bouncy ball, they swim, they bicycle, they skate, and it is just amazing to see with some training, very patient training, the wonderful things that they can do in Special Olympics. But it is a place where all walks of life can come and be a community together to promote sportsmanship.
Yes.
Or just to have fun. It's amazing to see their ability while they're out there just enjoying themselves, competing in this fun environment. But it's definitely important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I loved Special Olympics every time I did it. My first time doing it was 9th grade, I believe. But Special Olympics has always been a big thing for our YCI club over at our school. And I loved doing that because I like you said, they have special abilities. Like, they were getting more strikes than I was able to get combined in all my years, and so it was, I think every experience, that I've had was always a very beautiful, and inclusive, environment and experience. And so, yeah, I'm so glad that it has a positive, impact on not only those that do have these special abilities, but also, us as people that are from the outside looking in. But, some of these abilities could also negatively impact children that are, that have, autism. And so I was wondering, are children with special needs often seen as targets because of their differences, and how often do you see it happen?
Well, I think the world is becoming better educated as far as children with special needs. And I even think that people are more patient and tolerant of people with special needs than they are your typical developing people. like if you're standing in line and there's a special need person standing in line, they're trying to order, and it may take them 10 minutes. I think people are okay with it because of the education, because of the exposure, and it even started just with the simple TV programs like Sesame Street, having the new puppet Julia, and that way our little children, everybody watches Sesame Street, little kids, big kids, adults. And then you learn from those TV programs, need to be more tolerant, need to be more patient. It's education. And they even have a new little commercial, cartoon now. Daniel Tiger Neighborhood. Yes. They just got a new character for autism.
Really?
So I think the more that we educate the world, I think the more tolerant we are with not being so mean and evil to special needs. I think that commercials and movies, we're in movies now. I think education has put a different spin on it. Even in school, like when my son was in elementary school at McKee Road, and I just had to put that in because it was the best, that there was a teacher there along with the principal that had an assembly, and they educated the typical developing children about autism and told them, you don't have to be afraid of them. If you see them, they might have a meltdown. They're just having a bad day. They gave them all the different scenarios so that they knew as in elementary school that it's okay. They're still my friend, and then they were able to have an inclusion program where the typical developing children were able to come into the autistic classrooms and work with the kids. And they found that they were much similar things, differences, but it was okay. So I think the more education we've been having, the better off it's been as far as being mean to the special needs kids.
And I think, like you said, education is so important. I don't remember, and I went through probably about 3 or 4 schools when I was in elementary school. I don't ever remember having anything like an assembly or anything. Learning about that. And I think that's so important because when we're younger, we can't fully grasp everything yet, And so, I remember going to school with one kid that was in my class, and, he was autistic. And I think they made him, I believe they made him stay back a grade because the teachers didn't know that he was. And so, like you said, being educated, being just knowing and understanding the different things that they go to, the different signs and, different things like that could better help everybody, understand and them not have to go through that process and, people not having to judge them or mistreat them or anything in that nature. So I know that you are a mother of a child with autism. I love Jonathan from the bottom of my heart. And so I was wondering if there's a word that if you can use one word to describe what it's like to be a mother of a child with autism, what would it be?
Routine. Routine. That is his love language. We all have a love language, but routine, that predictability, it causes him to be safe and to focus and to be able to learn because I know what's next. This is my routine. This is predictability. It eases the meltdowns. It eases the anxiety when they know what's next. So it makes it easy for me because I establish a routine and he can pretty much just follow that routine, which makes it easy for everyone living in the family. And at school as well, they follow a routine. Even is getting on the bus, there's a routine. Getting off the bus, there's a routine. And that's how he thrives. And that is definitely his love language is routine.
Oh, I love to hear that. I know a lot of us have been struggling with routine lately because it's COVID season. And so, I mean, oh yeah, like even as an early graduate on this side, it is so hard to stick to a routine when you're at home. Like you're so used to going to school and used to going out. So what do you guys do to keep busy throughout the day with COVID around, you know?
It was very difficult at first because his routine is get on the school bus and go to school. Mm-hmm. And it was every morning, want to ride school bus, want to go to school. And I had to say, Jonathan, we have a virus called COVID. And we go to a Charlotte-Mecklenburg school. We're a part of school district, and they sent out packets, and one of the stories was about COVID. And so I read to him about COVID in the terms that he could understand. Mm-hmm. And so I told him those are the reasons why we cannot go to school, because of this virus. This virus will make you sick. Oh. It'll make you not feel good. And so we cannot go to school. And because we cannot go to school, we're going to go on computer school. So I didn't use the word remote. I just said, we're going to do computer school and it will be fun. And so introduced that, and he seemed to be okay with it. You know, he gets distracted. You got to reel him back in and go, Jonathan, hey, let me get your attention. You know, and then the teachers do all the things to get their attention too, because they know that our children are easily distractible, because this is something different. You know, they're not in front of the teacher. They're not in the classroom. They're routine. So it was, it took some getting used to. It was not easy, but we would take breaks. We'd go outside, take some chalk, go right on the cement with some chalk. We go for car rides. We go to McDonald's. We just take a break. So we used a lot of break time. We'll just take a brain break, and then we'll come back to computer school. So we just had to ease it in slowly. It had to be something relaxed so that he wouldn't be anxious. But it was wonderful that he could still see his teachers on the screen. So it was definitely an adjustment, yes. Gotcha. But it's old hat now to him, but he still will ask, want to ride school bus, want to go to school? And the answer is still the same. We have COVID.
And how are, like, with COVID, we have to wear a mask, right? Like, we're so used to seeing people's faces, you know, and seeing them throughout the school building, seeing them out the neighborhood. So how have the masks been? Like, is it easier, you know, for Jonathan to wear a mask out, or is it a little bit harder for him to was it harder, you know, initially getting into the process, you know, of like wearing a mask everywhere you go?
Initially, it was different, and it was a change, and it's not a part of his routine. So, again, I had to find a social story to talk about wearing masks. And you'd be amazed how many social stories are out there about wearing a mask. And so I broke it down into little bits and pieces, and I put my mask on, Daddy put his mask on, and we talked about wearing the mask. So now he's definitely in the routine of it now. He'll go get the mask before I go get his mask. So it was definitely something different, because it was a change in the routine. But he definitely tolerates a mask, and we did all this. Thank you, Jonathan. You're so great. Oh, good job. You know, the verbal praise has to come with it. So he knows, oh, okay, I'm doing something great. This is a part of my routine. So, yes, there was some difficulties initially, but now he's old hat and he grabs it before we can even say, go get your mask. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. I think it's absolutely, and it's very interesting, but I think it's absolutely amazing. It amazes me how close, you know, children and people with autism are to people who are quote unquote considered normal in society. You know, like they're so close to us. They're not that different at all, because everybody needs a routine, right? Like everybody, has a job, wakes up at, let's say, 7 o'clock in the morning, brushes teeth, takes a shower, go to work, come back home at 5, makes dinner, relax. Like it's so funny how close they are to basically people who are considered normal by society. And I think that's something that's so big that, people should learn to understand, if you will, or educate themselves on. And so you talked about the routine with, school and everything like that. And, I'm an early grad, so it's like double for me. And I had a hard time with, getting work done and different things like that. So what are some difficulties that you had throughout the year while being on computer school, while being remote? What are some difficulties that you had as far as assignment, work-wise?
Keeping his attention. Because he's not used to seeing his teachers on the screen. He's used to seeing his teachers in the classroom, in person, where he can, physically touch them and see them and, and hear the verbal praise from ear to ear, or from ear to ear. So to see his teachers on the screen and they're trying to get his attention, Jonathan, over here. Look in the camera. They don't provide a brain break per se. So, when we see that he's just too distracted, we'll just put it in the chat. He needs a break, and they, acknowledge. But it is different for him because they're just so routine oriented, because from little kids, he's been in school, and it is ride the school bus, go to school, see my teachers and my friends in person. What is this all about with me learning on the computer? So it's all about just the introduction of it, making it a part of his new normal routine and following the schedule. And so we give him the schedule and we say, Jonathan, let's log into teacher A, and we taught him how to, find Zoom and put the numbers, the password, and the username, so that he's becoming a part of his new routine. And then going over it with them and letting them know we still have this coronavirus.
Right.
We haven't. We're not on the school bus yet, and we can't go in the classroom because we're still being safe. But you're going to be able to see your teachers on the computer. So it's predictability, it's routine, and it's consistent.
Gotcha.
It is different, very different.
And I hope our listeners took those notes, because I even me, I need help with staying consistent, it's so we are so eager to get out of the house, leave from within the four walls. We're so eager to get out. I know I'm always trying to walk around the neighborhood doing something active, because I'm I'm going to lose it if I stay in this house one more day.
Yes,
so
I agree.
I hear you. I hope y'all are taking notes, y'all. Take notes. Consistency and routine. Take notes, y'all. So staying on the topic of school, real quick, how many classes does Jonathan have? Does he have 4 or does he have 6?
Actually, he just has 3.
Okay.
Really, he just has 3 classes. And then on the Zoom call, he has 3. And then the rest of his classes are independent work. And so they're done with either me or Dad, with him on the computer for his extra reading, his extra math, his extra social studies. And also he has speech also on the computer with his speech teacher. But it's actually just 3 consistent classes, and then the rest are independent work on the computer. So they kind of break it up a little bit, and it's nice the way they have it scheduled. So he's just not on there for 6 hours. They do consider that, he has autism, and there's so much, sit time that he can do before he needs to get up and have a brain break. Yes, absolutely.
Man. Yeah, I'm glad that, even though you guys are, even though he is having struggles with, attention, like, because I know I do as well. Like, I'm so glad that you guys are getting through the year, and the year is almost over. So it's not, it's not too far that we have to go. So yeah, but what's something that you wish that, not just in general, that teachers would do for school? I know there's a lot of teachers that give like 5 assignments a day, 2 assignments a day. I have multiple teachers that are going on multiple different schedules right now. So my spring break is not my online spring break. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. And so what are some of the things that you wish that teachers would do for students that are in school in general?
Just without being special needs?
No,
or
with being special needs. I'm sorry.
Just be yourself. Because our teachers, I can only speak for, teachers in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. They do an amazing job. When they work with our kiddos, amazing job. And I know this is hard on them because when they work with special needs kids, their heart is in it. Their total heart is in it. For them, it is really not about the money. It is really it's a heart issue with them, and they love what they do, or they would not work with special needs kids. So I would tell them just to continue to let your heart be in it. And don't worry, our kids are going to be okay. They're resilient. They will bounce back, and you'll get those hugs again because special needs teachers love to hug and they love to high five, and that it's going to be okay. There will be maybe some loss with learning, but they can bring them back up to speed and just continue to be creative in what you do, because they blow my mind every day, the things that they come up with on ways to engage our kids, ways to focus them, ways to teach them in little bits of pieces so that they can learn and understand this world that they're living in. So just enjoy what you're doing on Zoom. Don't feel anxious or like, oh my gosh, I hope we're meeting the goals. I hope that, their IEP goals are being met. But just relax, and it's going to be okay, because our kids love you and they miss you so much, and it's reciprocal. Definitely reciprocal. And the parents miss you too. And just relax, and I hope they're enjoying their spring break. And maybe when COVID is over and it's better, more of our kiddos will be in the classroom with them, but it's going to be okay.
That's awesome. And you seem to have been very blessed with the teachers that you have. Whereas I've seen both sides, where they had their heart in it and where they didn't. So
yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. We've been blessed with great teachers in CMS. Just great. Great.
Man. That sounds absolutely amazing. So, we're continuing to pray for those, out there that have been, impacted by COVID, and those with special needs, that are in the school system that, are dealing with, switching their routine into remote learning and computer learning. And so before we close out today, I wanted to know if you could give advice to any other parents that are raising a child with special needs or autism, especially during this time of online school. What would you say?
Relax. And if they just can't stay in front of the computer for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, remember that you are their very first teacher. You are, as a parent, their very first teacher before they even went to school. So teach them. Teach them yourself. Even just the basics of functional skills, how to brush their teeth, how to use a microwave, how to button their shirt, how to tie their shoes, how to brush their hair, how to go to Walmart and keep their hands in their pockets without touching everything. Teach them what they need functionally. It'll be okay. The academic part, they'll catch up with the academic part. But our kids need the functional aspects of life as well. What's your phone number, your address, how to cross the street? Those are just as important as the academic side. Yes. And then when you go out in the community, if they have a meltdown, I ask that people in the community don't get your phones out and start filming it. Ask the parent, is there anything I can do? Don't call the police right away. Ask the parent, do you need professional help? Do you need me to call the police? Ask first before you do those other things, because that parent, that caregiver, that's generally not their first time working with that child, but the child may have just been having a bad day. Some of our meltdowns that the kids have are a form of communication. Some may not be able to say, I need to go home now, I need to potty, I'm hungry, or I want to buy this bag of potato chips. But they may just have a meltdown. But remember, meltdowns are a form of communication. So don't get your phones out and start filming. Please don't do that. And don't call the police right away. But ask, be respectful and ask, is there anything that you need me to do? And that's what I would like for the world to know. Ask first.
Yes, absolutely. Ask first. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. Do not judge, guys. Do not judge from afar. You don't know everyone's story, and I like to look at everybody with a clean slate when I meet them. So definitely ask first. Ask first. Well, I thank you so much for doing this with me, Lady Lisa. Y'all, this is Miss Lisa Richardson, Mrs. Lisa Richardson. She's a mother of a child with autism. His name is Jonathan. We love him so much. And we love you, Lady Lisa, for coming on and giving Chats with Chloe-Olivia some love and spreading the message that needs to be heard all around the world.
You're welcome, and I've enjoyed being on your chat, and congratulations on graduating from high school early. You've done a great thing.
Thank you, y'all. Y'all take care. Hey guys, this is Chloe-Olivia again, and I hope that you guys enjoyed that story. Make sure that if you guys have a story to tell, email me at chloeoliviatalent@gmail.com. That's chloeoliviatalent@gmail.com. Again, I will be hosting Chats with Chloe-Olivia every single Saturday, 1:30 to 2 o'clock p.m. And we will be airing on Spreading the Gospel Network, where your story can be heard all around the world. All right? Take care, and as always, don't forget to pray tonight.